Today we're traveling to the Outer Rim to build a scene from the gritty, sun-bleached planet Tatooine. Tatooine, known as a wretched hive of scum and villainy, is one of the most iconic places in all of Star Wars, and of course I had to make this diorama at some point, and for this I'm going to need the biggest base I can find. But thankfully the very kind folks at War Scenery sent me the biggest box of Star Wars terrain and miniatures I have ever seen, so let's get started. And to start we have this beautiful Tatooine house, and there's only one thing I kind of want to change to this, and that'll be adding a lot of texture all over this house. And the best way we can analyse the texture on Tatooine is to jump into Star Wars Battlefront 2 and have a look at these deep shots of all of the houses so we can get a vibe for the texture we need to create. And I think I may have just found the perfect texture paint for this job, and that is some concrete paste. I found a cheap one at Hobbycraft, but you can pretty much find concrete paste anywhere on the internet. And as they say, this is where the fun begins, as it's time to slap this paste all over that house. And this is some of the most fun I've actually had in ages. The only thing I wanted to look out for was all of these cables running along the side of the house, as we want to try and keep them as smooth as possible. Now when it was time to start gluing this house to the base, it was really important that we add some elevation. So for this I cut up some old sprues, stuck it to the bottom, and then slapped that bad boy onto the base. The reason for this is so we can add some clay later on, to add lots of ground variation to make it feel natural in its desert environment. And the clay I decided to use was Daz air drying clay, which is the easiest thing you can ever use. We can also use some water to smooth it all out, which will also help it dry the next day. So one thing I never thought I'd be thinking too much about in my life is the ground surface textures on Tatooine. And of course there's only one place we can truly look for this, and that is back to Star Wars Battlefront 2. And we can kind of see three different textures. We can see a sandy texture, a gravel-like texture, and some debris spread around the ground. And to get a similar effect, we're going to be using some sandy desert texture pastes, and cross our fingers and hope it looks like the real thing. And I'm going to be doing this in the most barbaric way, just getting a makeup brush and dabbing it across all the sides of the building. And this will be making that windswept sand building in a big pile against the building. And the next texture paint we're using is Dry Ground. This is where all the inhabitants of Tatooine have steadily crossed this road, cracking and drying the ground they walk on. And once it is all dry, it's time for our final texture paste, which is Light Earth. This is for the final path, adding that walkway in the midst of all this sand. And while we're at it, it's time to glue one of our first miniatures on, which is this lovely guy having a little smoke break. Which leads us to my favourite time of making any diorama, where we add all the little fine details and start to make this place feel like it's alive and a bustling city. For this I used a bunch of extra Star Wars bits from an old Millennium Falcon kit I somehow found, and all these original lovely Star Wars bits and pieces. To add even more debris, I decided to cut up some copper wire and run that through the ground, then adding some texture paste on top to make it look like it's all covered up. Which only means one thing. It's time to mask up and start priming this diorama. I started by priming it black, then white, and then I was originally going to paint it all in a desert colour, and then realised I could just spray it that colour anyway, and proceeded to do that. One of the best things I've discovered this year is the power of makeup sponges. Not just for my face, but for my dioramas too. What we can do with this blender is grab some Ubshanti bone, a nice lighter yellowy beige colour, and start dabbling it all over the building, which will add loads of nice texture and highlights to this wonderful building. Once we've added all of our highlights, I realised this doesn't have much depth, and it certainly doesn't look very dark or gritty. I then decided to add a huge wash, which I regretted straight away, but in the end it actually looked okay. And once that wash had stained this whole diorama, it was time to paint all of the browns on this, and that's the door, and I don't know what these things are, but they're like wooden panels. I have no idea what they are. So it was then time to paint the rest of the diorama and all these tiny little accessory bits. It took so long, but it was well worth it, with the hardest part being not to spill any paint over onto the already established beige colours. With all of the accessorizing done, I wanted to add a bit more of that dark vibes and add some blaster shots to the side of the building. Now once again we're going back to our trusty game and seeing what does it really look like, but I honestly can't recommend it enough. Going into games and having a look around the environment and seeing what colours they use, what textures are around, and trust me, it will really help your mini painting. So after painting the door, it's time to use the one and only enamel painting technique. I can't get away from this. This is my bread and butter. So what we're going to do is add this brown enamel wash all over the diorama and then get rid of it with some enamel spirits. But you can just see how cool it looks as it soaks in to all of that texture. And then once it was dry, it's time to whack out our original base paints and start highlighting up again, adding all of these different volumes to the building. And this is where I start to get slightly relieved as the diorama actually starts to look quite good. And that's always the feeling you want when you're this far into a project. And when it came to painting the ground, I just put some yellow paints everywhere. And the secret trick is I found this pigment powder and slowly sprinkled it where I thought people would be walking around. And this adds this really nice light coloured dust. But I do warn you, make sure to wear a mask as this powder is thin and you really don't want to be breathing in powdered paint. And to really get that dust in there, I then used my finger and then just smushed it in. And to make sure it all sets, we're going to grab some isopropyl alcohol, and this is going to soak it all in to that diorama. If you really wanted to set it in, you could grab some watered down PVA glue and put that on top, and that will work just as well. So with the bulk of the diorama pretty much done, it's time to head over and start painting some miniatures. And this was actually quite a surprisingly daunting task, as a lot of the aliens in Star Wars, especially on Tatooine, are only wearing a few different colours. It's the typical earths, beige, blacks, browns, and occasionally a cool purple thrown in the midst. But I gotta tell you, it was really fun just using like 4 different colours and trying my best to make each one of them look visually distinct and different. And I think I slightly pulled that off, and I think it adds a really cool cohesion to the piece. And one thing I never knew is how much I love having a purple secondary colour on top of that brown coat. And it was also really fun to expand my paint schemes and add a few more different skin tones into this, like the green and blue aliens. And just like what we did to the diorama, we're going to add a dark brown enamel wash to each and every one of the miniatures. While they don't necessarily need it, if we add it, it'll add all that cohesion, just like the diorama, making it look like a lived-in universe, rather than 2 different paint schemes or toy sets just added and mixed together. And about a day later, once everything was dry, it's finally time to glue every one of these miniatures onto the diorama. And with one final coat of black paint around the rim of the diorama, it's finally done. I hope you enjoyed this Star Wars diorama, and if you have, make sure to watch that video right there, as it is just as good. But first, let me know which diorama you'd like to see me make next. I've been Reese, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.